Hey, have you ever wondered where math comes from? I mean, really thought about it? Is it like a secret code of the universe that's just out there waiting for us to find it? Or is it something that we humans just made up? Well, we're going to dive into that amazing mystery right now.
So yeah, that's the big question for today. Is math something we discover or something we invent? Think about it for a second. When you're doing a math problem, are you finding a rule that was already there? Kind of like digging up buried treasure? Or are you using a tool that someone created, like building something awesome with Legos?
So, which is it? A hidden treasure we just happened to dig up, or a super useful tool that we invented to help us out with things? Let's investigate and see which idea makes the most sense.
All right, to start our investigation, we need to look really closely at the world all around us. Not in a math book, nope. We're talking about going outside, into nature.
You know, when you really look, you start to see something kind of funny. The world isn't all neat and tidy, like a page of math problems. Oh no, it's actually a little wild, a bit wobbly, and it's wonderfully messy. I mean, think about it. Is the moon a perfect circle? Not really. It's all bumpy and has craters. Is a tree branch a perfectly straight line? Never. And get this, even two snowflakes that look the same are actually totally different if you look close enough. So all those perfect shapes we learn about in math class, they don't actually exist out there in nature. Isn't that wild? Okay, so that brings up a really tricky problem. If no two leaves or two rocks or even two puppies are exactly the same, then how can we say we have two of them? It's a real head-scratcher when you think about it, right? But hey, we humans are super smart. We came up with this brilliant solution to deal with the world's messiness. We actually invented something incredible. Yep, we invented math. You should think of it like a super tool. It's this special set of rules we created ourselves to help us measure and build and just make sense of our messy, wobbly, wonderful world.
So, how'd we do it? Well, we invented a very helpful game of pretend, and it's a game that lets us do some pretty amazing things.
It works like this. We invent numbers by just ignoring the tiny differences. You can look at two leaves, and even though you know they're not identical, you can decide to pretend they are. You treat them as the same thing, and the moment you do that, you create the idea of two. Boom! You didn't discover it, you made a decision. You just became an inventor. And this pretend game isn't a bad thing at all. In fact, it's like a superpower. It's what lets us count apples at the store, measure wood to build a treehouse, and even send rockets into space. It's a super helpful tool that makes impossible things possible.
Okay, now this is where it gets even cooler. A really famous thinker once described this whole thing like a game of hide-and-seek that we play with the universe.
He said that all these ideas of numbers and perfect shapes, they come from inside our own minds. We create them ourselves, just like a spider spins its web. I mean, that web doesn't exist anywhere in the world until the spider makes it, right? Same thing with math.
So imagine this. First, we draw a secret map, but just in our heads. And this map is filled with all the perfect stuff, like perfectly straight lines and perfect circles, all the neat and tidy things that we know don't really exist in the real world.
Then, we take this perfect map that we just invented, and we lay it right on top of the real, messy world out there. We use our map to try and make sense of all the wobbly shapes and different things we see. And then, and this is the funny part, we look at the world through our map and get super excited when we find the very patterns that we put there ourselves. It's kind of like hiding your own favorite toy and then feeling really proud when you find it. We're basically just admiring our own clever invention.
So, okay, math is an amazing tool we invented, for sure. But does that mean it's the only tool we need? Can numbers really tell us the whole story about everything?
I mean, there's no doubt about it. Math is a champion. It's fantastic for counting stuff, for measuring how far away things are, and for building massive skyscrapers and tiny computers. It helps us understand all the how much and how many questions about the world. But what about, feelings or beauty or just having fun? Can math really explain what it feels like to laugh really hard with a friend or the magic you feel when you hear your favorite song? Let's think about music for a second. We could totally use math to count every single note in a song. We could measure how long each one lasts, and we could calculate the silent spaces in between them. But would that tell you what the song is really about? Of course not. Counting the notes doesn't tell you why that music makes you feel happy, or maybe a little sad, or just makes you want to get up and dance. It misses the magic.
A world with only numbers would be a world without any of that magic.
So let's wrap this all up. It seems like math isn't some secret treasure that was hiding out there in the universe, just waiting for us to stumble upon it. The universe is messy and wild.
Instead, what it really is one of the greatest, most powerful, and most creative tools that we humans ever invented. We made it up to help us understand the world, and it just goes to show how incredibly clever and creative people can be.
So that leaves us with one last thought. If we invented an amazing tool like math, what's next? What other kinds of super tools could we create to understand our world and each other in even better and newer ways? You know, the next great invention? That might just be up to you.